I paid $5,200 for a solo beach trip, then my sister tried to steal it for a bachelorette party. Hi, I'm Caleb. I'm 35, and last month my sister tried to hijack my vacation rental for her daughter's bachelorette weekend. And when I said no, my whole family acted like I'd cancel Christmas. So for context, I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm a middle school English teacher. Not flashy, not dramatic. I pay my taxes. I refill the soap dispenser before it's empty. And I planned one quiet solo beach week after a brutal school year where two kids tried to fight in the hallway over a pencil. 8 months ago, I booked a house in Folly Beach, South Carolina. Oceanfront, 2 bedrooms, balcony, hammock, everything I needed for a mental reset. Paid $5,200 in advance. Non-refundable. My treat to myself for surviving 12 months of hormonal chaos and the school board. I didn't tell my family right away. Not because it was a secret, because I've met them. My older sister Melanie has 2 daughters, and one of them, Kendall, was getting married. The wedding planning had become a full-blown cult with champagne flutes and Pinterest boards and weekly updates like I was on the committee. I wasn't. So when I slipped up and mentioned the trip to Mom during Sunday dinner in July, she tilted her head like she smelled blood. That sounds so lovely, she said. You work so hard. You deserve it. And like a sucker, I believed her. 3 weeks later, Melanie texted me. Cancel your beach week. We need the house for Kendall's bachelorette. Thanks. No, please. No, is it available? Just an assumption. Like I'd rented the place on her behalf. I stared at the message. Thought maybe it was a joke. It wasn't. 30 seconds later, Mom chimed in on our family group chat. We're family, Caleb. Don't be difficult. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. I should have just said no. I should have said, sorry, I paid for it. I'm going. Instead, I replied, you're right. Family first. And then I called the property manager and removed everyone's access but mine. When 13 women in matching silk robes showed up that Friday night, with heels sinking into the sand, ready to party, the keypad blinked red. So here's the thing about being the reasonable one in a family like mine. You stop getting treated like a person and start getting treated like a folding chair. Useful, portable, easy to store when not in use. Growing up, Melanie was the hurricane, and the whole house shifted furniture around her moods. I was the quiet kid who did his homework and didn't demand much, which in my family translated to, Caleb can wait. Or worse, Caleb doesn't mind. I minded. But I learned early that making waves didn't get me anywhere. When I turned 10, I wanted a mint chocolate chip cake. Melanie threw a fit at the bakery because green frosting was gross. We walked out with her choice. Vanilla with pink roses. I picked the candle wax out of my slice and said thank you like a hostage reading cue cards. So yeah, when she sent that text about taking the house, it wasn't out of character. What shocked her, and Mom, and every member of the Kendall worship squad, was that I didn't fold. I didn't explain. I didn't argue. I called the property manager, Mara, and said, hi, I need to revoke all guest codes except mine. Family mix-up. She didn't even blink. Got it, she said. Want me to reset the lockbox code too? Yes, please, I said, like I was ordering coffee, not canceling a generational pattern of emotional manipulation. Mara emailed the new access info that evening. I printed it out like a proud dad. Then I did something I'd never done in 35 years. I told Melanie no and let it stick. The next few days were a ride. First came the guilt storm. Mom, you don't have children. You can be flexible. Melanie, don't ruin this for Kendall. She deserves the best. My cousin Derek, bro, it's one weekend. Chill. Then came the flattery grenade. Melanie, you've always been so generous. This would mean the world. Mom, I raised you to care about others. And finally, the rage campaign. Melanie, this is why you're alone. Mom, you've changed. Yes, I had. But I stayed quiet. No speeches. No lectures. Just one sentence in the group chat. Only I am authorized. Please make other arrangements. Radio silence. For a full 48 hours. And then, Friday night, 9:04 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. When I picked up, I heard it. Wind. Voices. Footsteps. And Melanie's voice, sharp and incredulous. The code doesn't work. Did you do something? I smiled and stepped out onto my porch. Yeah, I said. I did. There was a beat of silence on the line. Just wind and what sounded like someone aggressively shaking a cooler. Then Melanie snapped. You said family first. I did, I said calmly. That's why I'm finally putting myself first. In the background, someone groaned. Are you kidding me? Another voice whined. My feet are killing me. And I swear I heard a cork pop. Melanie's voice dropped low, the way she used to when we were kids, and she was about to get someone else in trouble. You're embarrassing, Kendall, she hissed. Everyone's here. We drove 4 hours. I let that sit for a second, then replied. And I booked the place 8 months ago. Paid in full. That weekend? Mine. The next voice was Mom's. I hadn't even realized she was on speaker. Caleb, she said, using the tone she saved for funerals and traffic stops. Do you understand what you're doing? Yes, I said, for the first time in years. Melanie let out this bitter little laugh. So you're really locking your own family out? I didn't lock you out, I said. You were never invited in. Boom. Silence. Like the air had been sucked out of the call. Then chaos. Mom, after all we've done for you. Melanie. Kendall is crying. Caleb. Random bridesmaid. Just call the Airbnb. Tell them he's unstable or something. Another bridesmaid. I cannot believe this. This is so embarrassing. I stepped back inside my apartment and closed the door with one finger. Look, I said, you can stay at a hotel. There are plenty nearby, but you're not getting into that house. Melanie's voice turned shrill. I already put down a deposit on a party bus. I bought matching robes. Mom added, you'll regret this. No, I said. I regret every time I let you take something from me because I was too scared to say no. I ended the call. Then I turned off my phone, made a sandwich, and watched reruns of Frasier while 13 women in satin sashes tried to sweet-talk a keypad. And that night, I slept like a man who'd finally changed the locks. The next morning, I turned my phone back on like I was opening a cursed tomb. 42 missed calls. 17 voicemails. Dozens of texts. Some were pleading. Mom, please talk to us. Melanie, we're still figuring things out. We need the house tonight. Some were furious. Kendall, you ruined my weekend. Bridesmaid named Alyssa, you're a toxic little man. Melanie again, everyone's laughing at us. You made a scene. For what? But my favorite one came from my Aunt Cheryl, who hadn't spoken to me in over a year. It just said, wow. No context. No punctuation. Just wow. The universal passive-aggressive anti-missile. I ignored them all. Instead, I opened the email from Mara, my property manager. Subject line, guest incident summary. I clicked it like it was a reward certificate. Here's what it said. 9:03 p.m. Group attempted entry. Codes failed. 9:11 p.m. Guest called office. Told access restricted to primary renter. 9:22 p.m. Noise complaint from neighbors. 9:31 p.m. Non-emergency services contacted. 9:44 p.m. Group left premises. Just like that. Cold. Factual. Clinical. Beautiful. She even included a photo from the security camera. A row of women standing outside the house in heels and glitter with 3-ring lights and a champagne bucket, all looking completely betrayed by the concept of consequences. I screenshotted it. Sent it to my friend Damien, who immediately replied, Bro, frame it. But I didn't post it. I didn't gloat. I didn't send any messages to the group chat, despite the itch. Because I didn't need to. I'd finally done the thing I was never allowed to do as a kid. Say no, and let no be enough. But of course, my family didn't see it that way. By Sunday, Melanie had composed an actual invoice. I kid you not. She emailed me a list titled, Expenses Caleb owes for ruining Bachelorette weekend. Hotel rooms, $1,600. Food, for $180. Champagne deposit, $150. Emotional distress, $400. Custom bride tribe signage, $210. Makeup artist cancellation fee, $100. Total, $2,940. And at the bottom, payment expected by end of week. Venmo preferred. I sat there staring at it like it was a riddle written by delusion itself. Then I called my friend Layla. She's a lawyer, and read the whole thing aloud. She didn't even wait until I finished. Absolutely not, she said. Don't respond. Don't engage. Save the email. That's your proof. I took her advice. But I couldn't help doing one thing first. I replied to Melanie with a single sentence. I did not authorize your use of my rental. I will not be reimbursing anything. Then I blocked her. Because peace? Peace feels like silence in your own phone. Monday morning rolled in like a soap opera hangover. I made coffee, took my sweet time feeding my cat, and opened the blinds to actual sunshine for the first time in weeks. And I thought, maybe, that storm was finally behind me. I was wrong. Because 3 hours later, a knock came at my apartment door. I peered through the peephole and actually laughed. It was Mom, holding a Tupperware of lemon bars like she was starring in a 1950s apology commercial. I opened the door halfway. "You drove here." She breezed in like I'd invited her. "Of course. We need to talk." "We really don't," I said, but I followed her into the living room anyway, because, surprise, I'm still human. She set the lemon bars on the coffee table like a peace treaty and turned to face me with full maternal force. "Do you have any idea what you've done to this family?" I blinked. Enforced a contract I legally signed and paid for? She ignored that. Kendall's weekend was ruined. Do you know how much she cried? I sipped my coffee. Did you know she sent me an invoice for $2,940? Mom gasped like I'd just admitted to arson. She was hurt, Caleb. I set the mug down. So was I? Every time I gave up something just to keep the peace. Her lips thinned. You didn't used to be so selfish. There it was. The golden phrase. The one they all pulled out when I stopped being convenient. Selfish, I said. I paid for something. I planned it months ago. I said no. You all ignored it. And I'm selfish? She didn't answer. Just looked at me with this sad, shaking head like I'd dropped out of family college. Then she tried a new tactic. Your father's blood pressure spiked this weekend, she said softly. He's under so much stress. We're worried about him. There it was. The health guilt card. You're blaming my boundary for Dad's blood pressure? I asked, eyebrows up. She shrugged. You know how sensitive he is. I'm sensitive too, I said. You just never noticed because I didn't cry where people could see it. She sat down heavily on the couch. Is this what you want? To be alone? No, I said. I want to be treated like I matter. And if the cost of that is being alone for a while, I'll take it. She was quiet for once. No arguments. No monologue. Just silence. And then she stood, picked up the lemon bars, and looked at me like I was the one who'd walked in and broken something. We'll be here when you're ready to come back, she said. I'm not the one who left, I replied. And I closed the door behind her. Soft. Final. You ever notice how quiet can feel loud when it's new? That's what the next few days were like. My phone didn't buzz. No group chats. No sudden guilt ambushes. Just this unfamiliar hush that settled over everything. Like my life had been a concert, and someone finally pulled the plug on the speakers. I thought I'd feel lonely. I didn't. I felt clear. The thing about being the go-to guy is, people only check on you when you stop showing up. And even then, it's not really about you. It's about the hole you leave behind. Who's going to move the boxes? Who's going to smile through the tension at dinner? Who's going to let Melanie take his stuff because she has kids and you don't? So yeah, nobody checked on me. Except Damien, my best friend and secret hero of this story. He showed up at my apartment Thursday night with Thai food and a six-pack, dropped onto my couch like a sitcom character, and said, "All right, give me the tea. I've been avoiding the family group chat all week." "You're not even in it," I said. "I know," he replied. "That's how hard I've been avoiding it." I told him everything. The text, the confrontation, the invoice, the lemon bars, all of it. When I finished, he leaned back, took a long sip of beer, and said, "Honestly, I'm proud of you." That hit harder than I expected. "I feel like I broke something," I admitted. He nodded. "Yeah, the cycle. Good job." We didn't talk about it much after that. We just watched reruns, ate too much pad CEW, and for once, nobody called asking for a favor. Friday morning, I packed. The beach house was still waiting for me. Still mine. I drove down with the windows open and music way too loud, feeling like a high school senior who'd just found out class was canceled for the year. When I pulled into the driveway and stepped out, I swear the salt air felt like an exhale. The porch light clicked on automatically, and the lock opened on the first try. Inside was perfect. Clean, quiet, peaceful. No bridesmaid debris, no glitter trail, no champagne residue in the sink. Just me. And a hammock. And 7 nights of absolutely nobody needing anything from me. I dropped my bag in the bedroom, kicked off my shoes, and opened the sliding door to the ocean view. And right then, my phone buzzed. I almost ignored it. But it wasn't Mom. Or Melanie. It was Kendall, the bride. Just 2 words. Can we talk? I stared at the message like it might self-destruct if I touched it wrong. Can we talk? From Kendall, the bride. The alleged victim of my vicious, selfish, horrifying act of using a house I paid for. I'll admit it. I was curious. So I texted back. About what? 3 dots appeared immediately, like she'd been hovering with her thumbs ready. I just want to understand. No drama. Promise. Famous last words in my family. Still, I figured I'd already survived the Bachelorette battalion and the lemon bar guilt offensive. What more could she possibly throw at me? I called her. She picked up on the first ring, sounding surprisingly normal. Hey, Uncle Caleb. I sighed. You don't have to call me that. I'm only like 5 years older than you. She laughed, a little nervously. Okay, Caleb, then. There was a pause. Then she said, I didn't know. About the house. That it was yours. That you booked it months ago. Mom told me you'd offered. I blinked. Offered? Yeah. She said you'd volunteered to let us use it. I sat down, stunned. She actually said that? Word for word, Kendall said. And when you changed your mind, she said you were having a breakdown. Oh, I said, so now standing up for myself is a mental health crisis. I'm sorry, she said, and for the first time, I believed someone in my family meant it. I really didn't know. I thought you were just being, I don't know, dramatic. I laughed. Me? Your mother spent $300 on matching silk robes for a beach weekend. And I'm the dramatic one? She chuckled. Yeah, fair. There was another pause, but not the awkward kind. The thoughtful kind. Then she said, they're calling you selfish and cold. But honestly, I think you just finally got tired of getting steamrolled. I didn't say anything, because I didn't need to. Kendall went on, quieter now. After everything, the hotel mess, the party falling apart, the meltdown on Instagram, I realized something. I've never seen you say no. Not once. That's by design, I said. It's easier for everyone when I disappear behind a yes. Well, she said, you were kind of a legend this weekend. I laughed. Really? Oh yeah, she said. The bridesmaids renamed the group chat Caleb the Gatekeeper. I actually choked on my water. She added, half of them were mad. But the other half? Secretly impressed. Tell them I'll be launching a self-respect seminar this fall, I said. Limited seating. No family discount. We both laughed. And for a second, it felt okay. Before we hung up, Kendall said, you didn't ruin anything. Honestly, you might have saved me from a wedding that's becoming more about everyone else's expectations than mine. Then she added, take care of yourself, okay? And she meant it. After the call, I walked out to the balcony. The sun was low, the waves steady, and the air smelled like salt and something better than forgiveness. Peace. And that night, I didn't just sleep. I rested. The next morning, I woke up without a single buzz, ding, or guilt trip waiting on my phone. Just the ocean, the breeze, me. I made coffee, stepped onto the balcony barefoot, and for the first time in years, I didn't brace for someone else's crisis. There was no request for help moving a couch. No reminder that I don't have kids, so you can be flexible. No drama bomb disguised as a favor. Just silence. The good kind. And for once, I didn't feel like I was failing anyone by choosing myself. Later that day, I walked the beach with a book I didn't open and a smile I didn't force. I watched a kid chase a crab and 2 old women argue over sea glass colors, and it hit me. Life goes on. With or without family approval. With or without their narrative. And mine. Mine had finally changed. The final twist came on Wednesday. A letter. Real paper. Envelope. Loopy cursive I recognized immediately. Mom. I opened it like it might explode glitter. Inside was a single sheet that read, Caleb, I forgive you. When you're ready to apologize, you know where we are. Mom. I actually laughed. Out loud. Alone. At the audacity. Not I'm sorry. Not, I understand now. But I forgive you. Like I had wronged them. It was so perfectly on brand I could have framed it. Instead, I folded it once, walked inside, and slid it into the same folder that held my rental agreement. Receipts. Proof. Artifacts of truth. And then I blocked her number, not in anger, but in completion. Kayla too. And Aunt passive-aggressive Cheryl for good measure. Every block was a closed door. Quietly. Without slamming. Because I didn't need to win the argument anymore. I just needed peace. And peace doesn't beg for access. It waits for you to stop apologizing for needing space. That night, I watched the stars blink over the ocean and thought about how many years I spent trying to earn love by being small, quiet, convenient. But love that requires you to disappear isn't love. It's control. And I'm done confusing the two. So here's the part one wish someone had told me sooner. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to enforce a boundary without debate. You are allowed to stop shrinking for people who only clap when you're useful. Family doesn't mean access. And the next time someone tells you to stop being difficult, just smile and reply, "You're right." Then change the locks. And go to the beach anyway.